Hey everybody, just wanted to give you an update. Been pretty windy here last couple of days, so it's been hard to video out here because the wind has just been howling. So thought I'd give you a quick little update. What's going on? We got the motor in, we saw that video. Everything went in pretty good. Since then I've started doing some of the plumbing as far as the fuel system, the transmission cooler, and gonna start on the coolant as far as the radiator hoses, but want to go ahead and get the transmission cooler and all that mounted first. So a couple other things is I've got the wiring in as far as the ECU and then the auxiliary fuse box. Waiting on a battery box. Once I get that, I'll finish wiring everything up. I've got my battery leads put on, got everything laid out pretty much the way I'm going to set it up. So as soon as I get the battery box, get that in, I'll finish the wiring. Got to put some oil in the engine, oil in the transmission, and hopefully we'll try to give it the start over the weekend. But I'll go ahead and show you some of the stuff I've been working on. Okay, let me show you what's going on here. So first and foremost is the wiring. You can kind of see right there, the original harness was cut right in there. Let me just change fingers there. That one kind of got beat up today. The original harness was right there, it was cut. So the actual lead that goes down the transfer case was gone. Everything was gone. So I pretty much had to remake all that out of my own wiring. And so I used some of these 4 and 6 and 10 connectors, waterproof, look great. That's also all integrated back into the auxiliary fuse box that I did. That's going to do my fuel pump. It'll do all the coils, injectors, turns on the ECU, and then it'll also have dual fans, high or 1 and 2, high and low, and then it'll also do the AC. When I get that going, I'll actually use that. I'll use the Toyota brain to signal for clutch, but it's actually going to run through here and go through another relay. It's kind of maybe redundant, but I don't know. It's just the way I'm going to do it because I don't have any of the Toyota. If I would have had the original harness, I would have just broke that harness down and then retied it and taped it using the Toyota harness and had all the plugs. I had to some of the things, there's the Toyota coolant sensor that shows the coolant on the gauge in the dash, but this one is the LS temperature sensor that goes to the ECM that tells it what the motor temperature is. So there's a couple of those things you got to do. Another one is, I don't know if you can see it, but that's the Toyota factory oil sending unit. I'm actually using that through the Toyota harness. I don't have the LS oil pressure sensors hooked up because it's not going to tell me if I have low oil. I guess if I hooked it up, it would. It's kind of a dummy light, but not going to mess with that. So that's two of the devices on the dash that you have to convert over, and then the third one would be the TAC. And on that, you pick up a signal, your TAC signal coming out of your harness here, and then go into a Dakota box or Dakota digital box. That'll convert it down. So we'll be doing that under the dash. But anyway, so that's that. The other stuff we've got, here's our battery cables. They're kind of overkill, but why not? Want it to be right. Ordered a new battery box from Slee. Should be here tomorrow. So I'll kind of finish that out. I want to make sure I know where my battery lands in all my terminals, and then this is the power to this relay box, which controls all that. And then the rest, like I said, I got fans that come out, and then this is actually the starter signal down to the starter. Starter's in there too. So anyway, that's kind of the up here. Some other stuff I'll show you while I'm up here. I'm actually going to get, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. Someone went to working on it, so I'm going to have to clean that up. But I do know I'm going to take a signal out of there and run it over here to my alternator. So my light, my dummy light on the dash will work on the alternator. But the fuel system, it's got this actual truck intake and fuel rail has the return, which I'm not using, so I've capped it off. and then this is my fuel in, and then I actually have a, well, I guess I'll just show you. Okay, so down here underneath the car on the rail, you can see the lines coming out of the fuel tank. And so this one is actually input into, I think they call these Corvette fuel filters. It's got a, I think it has a built-in regulator in it. I'm almost positive it does. So the high pressure comes in, carries on, and then it's actually bypassing back to the tank right here. On some other swaps, and you'll see them, they're up on the fuel rail, because you could just plug it in right there and do it. An old hot rod buddy of mine said, man, you need to have this as close to the tank as possible on the return. It doesn't need to be that far up. So this time I took his advice, and it worked out better because I had to put the fuel tank back in because they had that out, which that's a no. I'm out of the gas tank installing business. That's no more of that. But so I ended up putting it here, and it worked out. Have a little screw there. So that's the fuel delivery system going up. So that kind of explains what I got going on as far as the plumbing. When I say plumbing, obviously fuel and transmission lines, and then the electrical, the wiring, kind of see what I did there. I'll go in a little bit more depth, and if you got any questions, reach out, I can answer them for you. But anyway, so hopefully in the next couple of days we'll have the parts we need and be able to give this thing a start. Thanks, guys.